Tony D'Amico joins us once again here on New Day Cleveland. We're going to talk about money, and money is one of those things. You get to the threshold of retirement, or maybe 10 years before, you start worrying about your money.
That's exactly right.
And where to get some good advice. And you're a fiduciary, and a lot of folks out there probably don't know what fiduciary even means.
Yeah, that's a good question. And you're right, people do get more serious about their finances as they're approaching retirement. And
you aren't kidding, it's serious.
Yeah, we see a lot of people once they especially reach the age of 50 that it's on their mind. And then they start to take a look at different financial advisors, and quite often they get confused. But you brought up a good point. Some advisors, not all, as a matter of fact, when we look at the 310,000 financial advisors in the country, about only 10% of them are fiduciaries. And even amongst that 10%, there's only about 5,000 advisors that are fiduciaries across all advice. So, but a fiduciary is somebody that by law has to put your best interest first, above all else. And there's no higher level of accountability that the law defines in the fiduciary duty. So it's very important, because when somebody is really a true fiduciary to you across all advice, you're going to get unbiased advice that's in your best interest.
So this is different than your stockbroker, or this is different than your insurance agent who wants to sell you some insurance for retirement. These are all products that you can buy, but a fiduciary is different than those guys.
Exactly. You're right. Some insurance agents are not fiduciaries, and typically they're not, where they're getting compensated by commissions. So, and insurance can play a role,
right,
and which makes it difficult for consumers, because there's some good insurance products out there that we all need. We might need term insurance, but there might be other types of insurance products that are very costly. And that's where a fiduciary comes into play, where they really are going to put your best interest first and not be motivated by certain commissions on certain products that might be higher than others.
So Tony, people are listening to you right now, and then they've got these guys they've been talking to all this time, and they'd be intimidated to go back to a guy they've known a whole bunch of years and say, are you a fiduciary? And who knows what they're going to say back, because there's so few compared to all the people in the investment business.
Right.
But if you can get the guy to say and write he's a fiduciary, then he is.
Yeah, if somebody's willing to put in writing that they're going to be a fiduciary to you across all advice, then that's a great thing. But chances are, if you're working with somebody and if they were a fiduciary, chances are, I believe you would know that already, because a fiduciary wears that across the sleeve. Again, really, I think your viewers' focus should be is kind of narrowing down the fiduciaries that are out there, because again, there's only about 31,000 advisors that are fiduciaries, and amongst them, a great amount of them have some sort of dual affiliation where they could be a fiduciary in one capacity and not in another, which is, it shouldn't be this complicated. So how do they narrow it down to those 5,000 advisors or so that are fiduciaries across all advice? And one thing that comes to mind is, ask them what their investment philosophy is. And you really have to ask some good, specific questions, and that's a good one. And you want to make sure you're comfortable with the investment philosophy. But one thing to ask them is, well, do you invest in the same investments that you're proposing for me?
Right.
If the answer is no, I would keep looking.
Yeah, you always get, well, it's different for everybody. You get those kind of answers, but a fiduciary has to work in your best interest, and you can get that signed in writing. And one other question I want to ask you, how about people that are like 70, 75, they're already into retirement? Is it a good idea to have a fiduciary look into their portfolio? Yeah,
it is. Later in life, it gets to be a little bit more challenging to make financial changes. They can be done if you're not in an optimal situation.
If you got something bad, you might want to change it.
Absolutely.
And you can spot that.
Absolutely.
How about education? How can we educate ourselves to know more about this so we know what questions to ask?
That's a great question. So I do teach a retirement planning class for the Lorain County Community College, a Center for Lifelong Learning. We do classes in Elyria, Strongsville, and Medina. And I also do some workplace education too. I've done it for university hospitals. So love for your viewers to attend our class, and they can contact us to get signed up for that.
Tony's been doing this 18 years. There's articles written in the Wall Street Journal all over the place. He's got a great reputation. And to sign up for this class, it's $49. But what I liked most about it was you can bring your wife or you can bring your husband. And so it's $49 for the both of you.
That's right. Your spouse won't cost you anything that day.
You can't go alone, not with one of these things. You go home and your wife says, what? You're crazy. But no, if you're both there, and you don't have to bring anything with you either. You just show up.
Be
It's
ready
2
to
nights,
learn.
a couple hours a night, and you learn an awful lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's 6 hours of education. They're pretty full evenings, but I promise you'll walk away with more information.
And where do we get that phone number once again?
So you can contact us directly to register at 440-572-5552. You can go online at fidatowealth.com/classes, and we'll get you signed up for the class that's closest to your area.
Tony D'Amico, thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks.